Hi guys, I wanted to do a little bit of a sit down with you. I was just unboxing some stuff, the couple of book boxes that I have, and I wanted to do like a little conversation with you guys. All right, so I got a really big book haul, which I put up today. So you'll see this next week. So if you want to see what spurred this, go watch that book haul because it's huge. And I've been kind of taking some inventory of my bookshelves and book buying habits. So the shelves you see behind me are all unread. They're my rainbow of unread books. I have several bookshelves full of read books, but these are unread. What you don't see is there is 2 more bookshelves in my room that are unread, another bookshelf over here that's unread, and then there's piles of books that are unread. My book buying got a little out of control. My TBR is a little out of control, to the point where if I were to spend the time and read all of them all the way through, reading 100 books a year, I would never find the end of this pile because with the new books coming out, I would never see it. So I wanted to do a couple of things, and I figured I would get on and tell you about it because it may cause a little bit of a change in my channel, but not a lot. I actually want to incorporate more fun videos than I have been because we just get in slumps of going to work and eventually these little things just kind of get pushed to the wayside. And I don't want that to happen anymore. I want to actually be able to have more fun videos in here. And with the fact that we're gonna have, I only do like one book haul every other month or so. Anyways, and so with my book hauls going down a little bit, I definitely want to have more fun stuff in here too. So the first thing, I made myself a TBR jar. I went through my Goodreads because if you go to my Goodreads and you go to my to be read pile, most of the books in there are on my shelves that I have not read. There are a few books in there that are ebooks. There's a couple of books that I ran across that were doubles. And there's a few books that I ran across that I don't actually have. I tried to delete the ones out that I don't have. And if I caught a double, I would delete it. But usually it wasn't until after I was done going, why do I have 2 of this one? So those types of things, there's gonna be some discrepancies in there. But for the most part, I have a lot of books on my physical TBR. This is all the firsts or the book I'm on in a series, as well as every standalone I have. And there's, probably over 300 books in here. We got about 24 books on each of these little pages. They're little tiny square pages. And we got about 24 books per page, and we went through 12 pages or 13 pages or something like that. So there's right about 300 in here. And they're all different colors, and they're really cute and pretty. I thought they'd look nice just sitting on my shelf. So the point of this is, it's every time I get into a spot where I'm overwhelmed by my TBR, which just happened, I will be reading happily and then I'll get to a point where I'll finish the series. Or I will get to the point where I need a break from the series that I'm on. Like right now I'm reading 6 of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. I just started Crooked Kingdom yesterday, and I have a feeling I'm gonna need a little bit of a hiatus from the world before I start King of Scars, which is fine. I'm also reading a little romance, but I might want something more. Or when my audiobooks are done, I'm working on the Dark Artifices series right now, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through Lord of Shadows. But once I finish Queen of Air and Darkness, I'm gonna need something else. That's where this comes in. So the point is that when I get to a spot where I don't know what to read next, I'm going to grab my TBR jar and I'm gonna pick something out. Because there's books that I've had on my shelves for years and I don't know what to do with them. I keep forgetting about them. I'll come across them when I'm looking through my Goodreads stuff, or I'll come across them when I'm looking through a pile of books, or I'm looking for something else on my shelf and I'm like, oh, I wanna read that. And there's so many books that I really, really wanna read that I constantly forget that I have. It's not like I don't forget. Like if I'm walking through a bookstore, I'll be able to go, oh no, I have that book, I really wanna read it. But when I'm looking for a book to read, I'll forget. So that's there to help me with that. To go along with this, I'm also going to start being a little more cutthroat with my books. So I am going to start doing some unhauls I already did one, and I've got another one that I'm working on right now. It's a little bit harder because I'm pulling books I've never read. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like take the books that I'm not sure about and try a chapter. And I'll do it with you guys. So when I decide to do it, I will sit down and I'll film my try a chapter. Here's the books that I'm thinking about trying, and if they don't grab me in the first chapter or two, I'm gonna put them down and I'm going to unhaul them. I'm gonna be a lot more cutthroat about my unhauling. Or I'm gonna start DNFing books. So I read So Called Girls, and I got almost 100 pages into it, and it was boring the life out of me because to me, the characters were too flat. There was no well-roundedness with them. They didn't feel like they had personalities. And Pat just pointed out, my husband pointed out that maybe she was doing too much showing. Doing too much telling and not enough showing. So I wasn't feeling attracted to the characters. They were just meh. And I might try again because I was doing a buddy read and my buddy loved the book. So I might try again and do a little something to see if, like maybe do an audiobook for it. So I'm not gonna be like mean about my books. If it's a book that I was excited about, I might try it again in a different format. So like with So Called Girls, I was excited about that book. So maybe I'll try it again in a different format, like an audiobook. But if it's a book that I wasn't excited about, I'm just gonna say goodbye. And if it's a book I was unsure about, I'm just gonna say goodbye. But if it's a book I was super excited about, I might change and try audio instead of the physical. But I am gonna be more cutthroat about it. If I get to 100 pages and I hate the book, I'm just gonna let it go because I put myself in slumps that way. Last month, I read 15 books. So far this month, or mid-month, I've read 4 because of So Called Girls. It kind of killed my passion for a moment, which sucks because, like I said, my buddy Reed loved it. And I really wanna love it too, so I probably will try again for that one. But you get the idea. I'm gonna be more cutthroat, I'm gonna DNF, I'm gonna unhaul, which, I never thought I would do, but I'm doing it. Next, I am also going to start cutting down on my book boxes. Right now, I'm getting Owl Crate Junior, Second Star, and Unicorn Crate, plus I had a sewing box. So I got rid of Owl Crate Junior, I got rid of Second Star, and I got rid of my sewing box. So right now I only have normal Owl Crate and Unicorn Crate. I do want to get Bay Crate though, because I have been getting more into adult books and I need a little help because I never know where to start. Like when it comes to fantasy, I've got a couple Brandon Sanderson books. I have The Name of the Wind, which I have not read yet, and I am putting off on purpose. I'm putting off because I'm afraid to love that book and then not be able to finish the trilogy because he hasn't decided if he wants to write the 3rd book yet. And so I will probably still read it. I'm just putting it off on purpose for right now. And so that book is not in my TBR drawer because I knew for a fact that I didn't want to start a book that I knew I couldn't finish. And then, but I'm going to be a little more selective about the books that I pick as far as my book boxes. I don't know if I'm going to be keeping both Unicorn Crate and Owl Crate, but as of right now, I still have both, and where I got rid of everything else. So I figured that would be a good way to help tamper down. And I love middle grade, but we just aren't reading it. And so I figured Owl Crate Junior was an easy out. And then Second Star, the books are really hit and miss. I've gotten a couple of books, and the one I've read so far, I did not like. So I am still hoping that the other books will be great. I just, like I said, taking a step back from that one for now. If I change my mind, I can always go back to it. And then the last thing I have is I'm doing a modified book bind ban. I got this idea from another YouTuber who I cannot remember her name, but I will put her in the description if I can figure out who she is. I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to do. But she did this big TBR chronicle where she had a huge TBR like I do, and she went through and she cut at least half of it. So she got rid of a couple hundred books, and it was kind of crazy. I couldn't imagine getting rid of that many books all in one fell swoop. But she did. She was really cutthroat about it. She kept like 100 of her fantasy books and like 25 of her contemporary, and then just slashed the rest of her books and cut at least half of them out. And her goal is to get another half of them gone before the end of the year. I'm not going that far, but I really did like her idea of the book bind ban. So what she's gonna do is for every page she reads, she gets 1 penny. And that money will go towards buying new books. So the thought here is that if I read 10 books in a month it'll give me enough money to buy a couple more. Like last month, I read 15 books. And if I had done this with all the books that I read last month, it would have had $66 to go towards book buying again, which for me, that's an entire humongous box from Book Outlet. And I mean, the Book Outlet boxes I spend $30 on most of them. And so I could buy 2 or 1 really big one, or buy 1 big box during one of the sales. But you get the idea. So it helps tamper down on the amount of books I'm buying, which I think is a very necessary thing. However, Pat made a couple of stipulations. He told me that the books don't count unless I have them on my shelves, and they don't count if they're rereads. So last month I reread one of the Harry Potter books and the entire A Court of Thorns and Roses series. Those books would not count. I also had 1 book in there that was a library book. That book would not count. I had 1 ebook. That book would not count. So we're only gonna count the books that are physically on my TBR. And so when I'm done at the end of the month, like right now I have a little stack going on my nightstand, and at the end of the month I'll go through and I only count the pages out of those physical books that I read. Because to both of us, we both agree that anything that comes from the library is wonderful, but shouldn't count towards this. Anything that's on my Kindle or on my audiobooks, again, unless I have the physical book, like I have the physical Lord of Shadows. So I am listening to it, but the physical book is in front of me. I am doing that too. So those will count. The only ones that won't count were like when I listened to the Narnia books. I did have Narnia books. They're in storage in Alabama, but those wouldn't count towards this because I don't have them physically here with me. I think it's a good compromise. And I still think that I will be able to buy books. I'm just gonna be a lot more selective about it. And I had kind of decided that I was gonna be more selective this year anyways, and this is just one more layer to help me make sure that I don't overbuy, because I wanna be able to read the books I have. And I hate that I have so many books that I so passionately wanna read, I cannot read them fast enough. Right now my Goodreads goal is at 80 books, but my secret in my head, in my heart goal, I wanna hit 125, which is about 10 to 12 books a month, depending on the month. I read 15 books last month. If I could do that every month, I would easily hit that goal and then some. I think we figured out that'd be like 180 books if I kept that goal. But this month is proving that that's not gonna be possible. But I would love to hit 125 because I wanna make a dent in this. And the only problem is last month, only 4 books came off my TBR because I reread so much. And I had audiobooks and I had ebooks. So I want to make sure that the majority of my books are kind of come off my shelves for now. And if I do really want to get a library book, that's great. I can totally do that. I just don't get to count it towards my money goal. So yeah, that was my little sit down. I just wanted to share a few things. If you've been with me for a while, you know that this is out of control. And if you're one of my friends who I talk to on a regular basis, you've seen all of my books. And if you watch my, what was it, my bookshelf tour that I did like 6 months ago, it's gotten a lot worse. So this is my way of starting to fix this. And so hopefully you'll get a few unhauls this year. Hopefully every couple of months you'll get an unhaul, and then on opposite months you'll get a little haul. So you'll still get them. I'm just hoping that they'll be a little more minimal, and we'll start taking chunks out of these books and transitioning books from unread shelves to read shelves. I'm also gonna go through and probably DNF a few, probably pull a few books from my shelves that I've already read. Like I'm thinking of pulling the Stalking Jack the Ripper and Hunting Prince Dracula books because I just didn't care for them. I physically read the first book and slogged through it. I listened to the second book and that was a lot better, but they annoy me when I see them on my shelves. And so they're kind of hidden on my shelves that I don't actually see very often, which is over there. It's the shelf I don't look at very much. And I think that if a book is gonna annoy me every time I see it, it needs to come off my shelves. So I'm probably gonna go through and pull a few books like that too. So yeah, you'll see unhauls. I hope you like that. If you have any good suggestions on how to get through some of my books faster, how to, if there's some books that you saw that you think I definitely need to read, or if I'm doing an unhaul and I didn't try a book and you think I really should try the book, let me know that too. But yeah, that's this video. I keep saying and that's telling me that I'm running out of things to say and I need to leave before I sound like people who annoy me. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Let me know what you think. If you have any other ideas, I would love to know. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.